protein. There's a new cool kid in town, and her name is Fiber. Today, we are talking about FiberMaxxing, which is actually a TikTok trend we as two dietitians love.
Yeah, finally. A trend that we love.
Yeah, you know what? There's not many because there's a lot of really dumb stuff online, as we all know. So if you're new to the podcast, welcome. We are two registered dietitians. My name is Kate.
I'm Megan.
And we love to break down nutrition science, talk about what's in the media, and give it to you straight. And that's our goal for today's episode, all about FiberMaxxing. We're going to talk about what it is, how to optimize fiber, the benefits of fiber. If you wanted a crash course in our friend Fiber, you've come to the right place. We're going to start today's episode off with a new fun segment where we share client wins. We are two dietitians who have an in-person clinic here in Orlando, but we serve people honestly worldwide. We've had clients in all sorts of countries. Most of our clients come from the United States, and we wanted to share a little bit of a client win and then give you guys a special offering for our podcast listeners only. So make sure you tune in for that offering.
Yeah, I'll talk about my client last night. So he's not the typical person that you would think would come in to see a dietitian. Mm-hmm. So he's got an engineering background, but works for a construction company. He's a good old boy. He's from Alabama. He's got an accent. He's got a big old beer belly. He wouldn't mind me saying this. This is how he talks about himself. But he's on the road a lot. So he's traveling job site to job site to job site. And that usually includes a hotel breakfast where he was grabbing the bacon, the sausage, making a sandwich out of it, grabbing an English muffin, maybe Wawa for lunch or whatever was fast and easy. So that usually means a drive-through. And then for dinner, he was usually stopping at somewhere like an Outback or a Longhorn or something like that, getting a steak, getting a pork chop, maybe getting like some white rice or something like that as a side and a little veggie. So he came in, this is our first follow-up, and so far he has tried Bole, he's tried Fresh Kitchen, and he's tried Kava, which I was so proud of him because you have to actually walk into those places, get out of your truck. Sometimes he has a trailer on his truck, so he's like trying to find places to park and things like that. And he took pictures on his phone of what he was eating so he could show me. And there's all these different colors. He's trying all these different vegetables. And for his for his breakfast, he was doing 2 hard-boiled eggs and grabbing a Chobani yogurt from the hotel. So huge improvements for this guy that would typically never walk into a place that's branded hot pink Fresh Kitchen.
Is he the kind of guy that would pronounce quinoa as quinoa?
Oh, absolutely. Quinoa. I don't like that quinoa stuff.
Don't make me eat that kale.
Yep, exactly. He actually had a lot to say to me about kale. Yeah, he tried the sweet potato nose. He's like, I don't know, they don't look right, but they taste okay.
He's not wrong. They don't really look right. Well, that's amazing. Well, if you've ever wanted to work with a dietitian, we decided that we would give all of our podcast listeners $50 off a coaching package with us. In your coaching package, you start with a 60-minute initial consultation, and that's where we get to know you. We ask you a lot of questions. To get to know you, we want to understand what your biggest struggles are, but most importantly, we want a clear vision of where you want to be, and we will help you create a game plan in that initial session. And then from there, we have follow-ups where we will meet weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, depending on your need. So if you are interested in grabbing that $50 off of a package, not just an initial session, it's for people who want to do a package, go ahead and enter the coupon code at checkout, podcast50. This expires on September 1st.
All right, FiberMaxxing.
You wrote in our notes that this is Gen Z rebranding something that dietitians have been recommending for ages.
I can't take credit. That was a New York Times article that said that, but I thought it was a perfect way of saying like, oh, look at this new thing that we're doing, fiber, and we're putting 2 X's on it, and it really just means we're trying to maximize the amount of fiber that we're eating in a day. And I think we as dietitians have been telling everyone this since the beginning.
I will admit though, dietitians collectively, we could work on our delivery.
We're boring. It's not very sexy.
FiberMaxxing? Well, when I first read this, I was like, oh my gosh, are people just consuming obscene amounts of fiber supplements? But actually, It's 30 to 40 grams of protein per day, which is within the recommended... Fiber.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So it's, 30 to 40 grams of fiber per day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, which is in the recommended daily allowance, which in the dietitian world we call that the RDA.
Right.
So that's the RDA. In fact, it's not even the highest RDA. Some men benefit from over 40 grams of fiber per day. It's just rebranded, which honestly, that's all it took.
Go for it. Let's rebrand it. Yeah, I love it. So what are some of the benefits of FiberMaxxing or getting enough fiber in a day?
Where do we start? First of all, fiber keeps you full. It is a tool to keep you full. There's a little rhyme that you can remember. When you eat a food that has fiber, think really rough foods, right? A food that has fiber is actually going to look rough. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, starchy vegetables, even avocados have fiber. That binds together in your digestive tract, and it slows down the rate at which food passes through the entire digestive tract. Why is this good? Because it keeps you full, because it takes a while for the contents to leave your stomach. Yeah. And therefore your brain gets this message that says, hey, you don't need to go eat more refined junk, processed foods. You don't have to go up for thirds or snack mindlessly because your body's still working on the fuel you gave it 2, 3, 4, 5 hours ago.
Let me give you a visual to this. So if you can imagine a piece of white bread or a roll in your hand, and then you stick it in your hands and you go like this and you rub it together, it kind of just goes away. It dissolves. It's really easy to break that down in your hands. If I put an apple in your hand and told you to break down an apple, it would be really difficult to do that. So imagine the same thing happening in your digestive tract. That bread's gonna go quick and that apple's gonna take a lot longer to digest.
And that's what we want. We
Right.
want it to take longer to digest.
Right.
And people are always talking about weight loss. This helps with weight loss because it helps you eat less without having to purposefully restrict. Now, people talk about protein a lot for weight loss because it also takes longer to digest. The mechanism is just different with fiber. It's just a different molecule. So you're really going to get the benefits when you pair a protein with something that has fiber.
Exactly. You can also think about carbs with fiber and carbs without fiber the same way you would think about gasoline at a gas station. Mm-hmm. So if you were a Ferrari, you're not going to go in and get the crappy fuel because your engine's not going to run in the best way possible. So if you can think about simple carbs as like the 87 I don't know anything about carbs.
I was like, what? I'm already like my zoning off here. I'm like, I don't speak car.
So like the best fuel possible that the Ferrari is going to run off of, that's the carb with the fiber.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. I say that to athletes. I'll use that expression.
Yeah.
Like my student athletes, I'll be like, what's your favorite car, you know? Hopefully I just hope that they have a favorite car. And I just think about food as fuel, but fiber just takes it to the next level. So really it's just putting like premium carbohydrate,
exactly. Premium fuel. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of fuel, what about our people who have trouble pooping?
Oh, for constipation. Yeah.
I tried to make a connection there. I swung and missed, but we're going to go move on to the benefits of constipation and fiber.
Yeah. So, I mean, number one thing when someone's constipated is hydration. So water is always first, but even before we up the fiber, I say we up the water. But if you're drinking enough water, the next thing we do is up the fiber because fiber creates bulk in the stool. And so if your body needs something to move that along, fiber is going to be the thing that does that.
And you're going to have a more comfortable stool. Yeah, so if you want something that feels natural, normal, and doesn't make you cringe or feel uncomfortable, you don't need me to paint a picture. Fiber's really going to help with that. Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the hydration piece because what I've noticed is some people will eat a ton of fiber naturally. They gravitate towards a plant-based diet, but I hear all the time that they forget to drink water. They have trouble drinking water. And then they think they have this like incurable bloating issue when really, hey, we just need more water to break down these rough molecules. Because like you were describing with the apple, when that breaks down in your gut, your body has to work really, really hard to break down that rough food. That's a good thing. But why not just help your body out by providing a lot of liquid to make it a little bit easier and not make you feel bloated or distended?
Gross visual, but think about a sewer system. There's got to be liquids along with the solids. If it's just solids, it's just going to get stuck there.
Yeah.
You need the liquid to move the solids along.
But unlike a sewer system, your body can promote a very healthy gut microbiome. It can actually be a very beautiful thing, and fiber helps promote a healthy gut microbiome.
You know what I think is crazy about fiber is it's literally carbohydrate that your body cannot digest, and yet it provides us so much benefit, even though we can't actually digest it.
Yeah.
But some of those little microbes in your gut can digest carbohydrates. So you've all heard of the microbiome, all those bacteria in your gut. Those good bacteria feed off of these carbohydrates that have fiber in them. So if you're not providing your body with the fiber, then those good gut bacteria are going to die off.
You don't want that. This is another reason why we are not huge fans of a low-carb diet, because it's a lot harder to get fiber. Sure, you can get fiber from, nuts and seeds and avocados, but you're a lot more limited, and you could really improve the quality of your diet and your fiber intake by allowing yourself to eat more complex carbohydrates that help feed these healthy gut microbiomes, and that helps with a healthier gut microbiome. And then let's take it a step further. Besides having better stool quality and consistency and less bloating, other benefits of having a healthy gut microbiome include less systemic inflammation, which is really, really mainstream right now for a good reason, because inflammation can be a core trigger for a lot of unwanted diseases or side effects. I think a really popular thing to talk about, or at least something that I'm really passionate about talking about, is fertility and reproductive health. A lot of our hormones are synthesized in the gut. And if we have an inflamed gut because we're either eating way too many processed foods and refined sugars, and or not enough high quality foods like fibers, then we could be having internal inflammation in our gut, which impacts how our whole body runs.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to get pregnant, improve fertility, or balance your hormones, whatever that means to you, take a look at your fiber intake. And if you're purposefully restricting carbs out of fear that they will make you gain weight, I'm hoping the information that we've shared now with you will help ease your anxiety and realize that, hey, actually it could have the opposite effect. And even if it doesn't, it still can help decrease inflammation, which can therefore help you just feel lighter, leaner, better.
And not only that, I mean, the studies are infinite, proving the benefits of fiber. So decreases risk of all-cause mortality, decreases risk of high cholesterol, decreases risk of cardiovascular disease, decreases risk of type 2 diabetes, of certain cancers. So the list goes on. And I think the reason why fiber is associated with all of these benefits is because of the types of foods that it occurs in. And you don't want to be restricting any of those types of foods, like blueberries and beans and apples and all these foods that we know are good for us and have all of these vitamins and minerals in them. It's not about getting it from a Fiber One bar. That's
okay, because you get the question a lot, I'm sure, which is, what about the psyllium husk supplement? What about a fiber supplement? And sure, if maybe you're on a GLP-1, or maybe you're a very small person with a small appetite and you find it very hard to eat a lot of food, period, whether it's on purpose or just by who you are. Sure, reaching a higher fiber goal might be easier if you're using a fiber supplement, but I would never try that first. I would look at your whole diet, do an audit of the foods you eat regularly, and see if there's things that you can swap. What I've noticed is some people who even eat healthy, right? They're not eating a bunch of the processed, whatever, fill in the blank. They're eating way, way, way too much protein, because protein has been like the it girl for so long. And so maybe somebody is eating 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein, and as a result, they're struggling to get 15 to 20 grams of fiber, and therefore they're feeling uncomfortable and they go to the bathroom, whatever, you name whatever issue that they're having. Don't be afraid to decrease some of the other healthy stuff if it's in excess, and experiment with what a higher fiber diet can look like. The fine print, like Megan mentioned earlier, is drink your water as you increase fiber. Otherwise, you may jump ship prematurely, because it won't be comfortable to have like a ton of fiber and not enough fluid.
No, I do eat fruits and vegetables. I think you'd be surprised.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing. I think looking in the mirror metaphorically about how and what you eat is very eye-opening. Don't judge yourself. This is just a great way for you to get some clarity and see what you can tweak. There are certain people who eat a lot of fiber and not enough protein, and then there are people who eat a ton of processed foods and not enough whole foods. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, there are people who eat only clean foods that it actually ends up being a disordered eating patterns, such as orthorexia, where someone has like an obsession with eating only clean, and it takes a toll on their mental health. So it's such a spectrum that you can fall on. So really being aware of your own patterns and trying to look objectively about how and what you're eating and what you can improve only benefits you. And, you know, if you don't know how to do that, if there's too much judgment or confusion attached, that's where we help. You can book a session with one of us, one-time session or multiple sessions, and we will go through your diet with as sharp of an eagle eye as you want, or we don't have to be as specific. It really just depends on your needs and help you make appropriate tweaks.
You want to talk about people who should not FiberMax?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, so if you have any kind of like IBS or IBD flare-up, adding a bunch of fiber into your diet is probably not the best idea.
Okay, I'm going to say you have to know for a fact that you're having a flare-up and be very aware of what your gut dysfunction is. For instance, if you have something like SIBO, that's a very, very tricky condition to navigate. So if you know for a fact you have SIBO, then yeah, don't FiberMax. But if you're like, oh, I'm bloated, I have IBS.
Okay.
Because IBS is like a blanket thing.
Sure.
Like, I have IBS. IBS girlies are hot. Like, that's a whole thing.
Yes.
Do you know you have IBS, or is your diet just crappy?
Or you just have a brain to gut thing going on where you have anxiety and that causes bloat and GI issues.
Dude, the brain and gut connection.
No, I'm talking about like I've got a dietitian. I've got a client with severe IBS who has several flare-ups per year, and during the time of her flare-up, she has to go very low fiber. In order for the gut to heal, it's how her and I have started talking about it. It's like if you have a scrape on your arm and then you keep touching it with things and making it move, it's not going to heal as quickly as if you give it a rest. It needs to heal just like a cut would need to heal. And then she very slowly has to work fiber back in. She actually does much better on a pretty low fiber.
Yes.
And that is someone who is diagnosed, been in the hospital 5 different times with a flare-up, not someone who's like, oh, my tummy hurts after I eat. Like, that's different.
Reticulitis is another example, right? If you're having these flare-ups, these are so specific conditions, and so if you're not sure, you want to talk to your physician. And if you experiment gradually with increasing fiber and your symptoms get worse, first make sure you're drinking enough water. And how much water would you say? I tell people at least 90 ounces, but most people need more.
I start at 64. I ask them how much water you're drinking a day.
Yeah.
They'll probably tell me like 30 something. I'm like, okay, let's go to 64. Let's see how that goes, and then let's bump that up from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I always do too. I'm thinking if somebody's really hiking up fiber for experimental reasons.
Yeah, they need more than 64 ounces in a day, then, I would say.
Yeah, and even more if you're outside in the hot sun, if you're sweating. This is just to be, just to rule out any kind of issues, because 8 out of 10 times, if somebody increases fiber and hydration, a majority of mild gut dysfunction can improve. Maybe it's not suddenly cured, but it can improve. But if you notice, if you gradually increase fiber, I'm talking like 3 grams every 2 days increasing, and it gets worse and you feel worse, it's not for you. I had a client one time who had suspected SIBO. And if you don't know, SIBO is small intestine bacterial overgrowth. It is such a pain in the butt to overcome. It's possible, but it's really hard. Hers wasn't diagnosed. It was getting a test is also kind of a pain to do. And we knew something was wrong because every time she would eat, it would feel like the food was just sitting in her stomach. Not high fiber foods, not high protein foods, anything. A white piece of toast would just sit there. And so increasing fiber made her symptoms worse. And immediately we were like, abort mission. We actually have to go the complete opposite direction. Her symptoms were so specific and she was already feeling so bad. It was very easy for us to see that increasing fiber by a few grams every few days, terrible idea. And so FiberMaxxing, not for her.
Do you want to take turns naming some foods that are high in fiber? If people are wondering.
Oh, it's like a game?
Okay, yeah, like a back and forth.
Oh my God, we were doing this in the car. We were doing this in the car the other day, which is a great car game for types of buildings. Play with your friends or your spouse because there are so many different types of buildings and you'll surprise yourself. Gazebo, pergola. Anyway, let's do the fiber game.
Okay.
You start.
Going chia seeds.
Ooh, ground flaxseed.
Also, I want to say, like, chia seeds, that's a big thing in the FiberMaxxing world on TikTok, is like these chia puddings, these chia breakfast puddings that people are making and then throwing like raspberries and stuff in there, and they're like, my breakfast has more fiber than your entire day.
That's just rude. And also, no, it's got a lot of fiber in it.
Yeah,
sure.
I forget what you said.
I said ground flaxseed,
Oh, yeah.
which is like the cousin of chia seed.
Avocado, which you wouldn't think because it's soft, but it's got a lot of fiber in it.
I put that in my TikTok today. I made a TikTok about my
girl.
lunch. Okay, let's kale,
Berries,
apples,
oats,
bananas,
quinoa,
brown rice,
any kind of bean,
or legume.
Yeah, lentils. Those are in there too.
What kind of oats though?
All of them.
No, not instant oats.
If you look at, I don't know. I went to this seminar. It was sponsored by Quaker, so I don't know if it was true or not. But they were trying to show that there was still fiber in the instant oats. But if I think about the actual mechanics of it, if the manufacturing plant is doing more of the processing, you probably want your body to do as much processing as possible. So the old-fashioned oats in the canister with the old man on the front.
Love it. Okay, so our first choice, steel cut rolled old fashioned. Instant oats, avoid unless it's the only thing you got.
Yeah. What about things like green beans, broccoli?
Yeah, all of the above.
Super high in fiber.
You know what? Chobani Complete, the yogurt has fiber added.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that like a...
It's like pectin.
Oh, okay. I'm unaware of
Is
that.
it pectin or chicory root fiber? It's one of them.
One of those that... Okay. What else?
Any kind of seed?
Any kind of nut and seed is going to have fiber in it. Anything that's rough.
How about butters, like nut butters?
Nut butter's got fiber in it.
Not regular butter, nut butters.
Yeah, sprouted grain breads, English muffins. I'm loving Ezekiel English muffins right now.
They are divine. They're so good.
I get them every week.
You can find them in the freezer aisle.
Yeah.
If you don't see them. If you want one that's a little less, I don't know, rough, I guess, Dave's Killer is also a decent brand.
I just love the hardiness of the Ezekiel ones. It really fills me up.
You feel nourished? Way more than if you did one of those, like, 100-calorie ones that literally, when you bite into those, I'm like,
There's nothing there.
It's weird.
It wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't talk about Smash Foods jam. So let's,
Okay.
I've been putting that on the English muffin.
Our unofficial sponsor, if anyone has a connection to Smash Foods, I had never found a jelly that did not have a weird consistency, did not have added sugar, and had fiber, and had whole foods, and then Smash Foods just showed up in the aisle one day, and now Megan and I are huge fans. We post about it on our Instagram at Nutrition Awareness probably once a week.
Our frequent listeners are like, can you please shut up about this jam?
We even brought like the jam bites to our walking club.
Yeah. Speaking of our walking club tonight, so if you're in the area in Orlando, we have the Nutrition Awareness Snack and Stroll.
Yeah. So we do this once a month, and it keeps getting bigger and better every time. This is a free event. There's no cost. There's no pressure. Bring your dogs. I've brought my baby before. You can bring whoever you want. If this podcast is out in time, which it'll be tomorrow night, July 16th, but our Instagram and our email, we're always posting about it.
This is what I'm bringing. So the snack for this week are the Truvani bars, the sugar cookie. So basically, everybody gets to try a snack. I try to find ones that maybe people haven't tried before. So these have 3 grams of fiber because they are made from cashews, dates, almonds, and so on.
Okay, so basically, you got to come to Walking Club if you want to FiberMax.
Yes, that's
FiberMaxxing is the theme for tomorrow. So be there or be constipated.
All right, I think we crushed the FiberMax. We approve.
We approve.
Makes it sexy with the 2 X's. Whatever you gotta do to make people eat fiber.
What are you gonna do after this podcast?
I don't know. Am I supposed to know the answer?
You're gonna go eat fiber.
I already ate one of those on the way.
Yeah.
I already got 3 grams.
I love those
in the
things.
car.
I like those for like a little pre-workout.
Oh,
Little pre-workout situation.
Give a
They're
little
called
energy.
the Only Bars. If you guys found this podcast helpful, we would love to hear your feedback. If you can share it with friends on social media, that also helps us spread awareness about how to really help people optimize their diet using whole foods, where we think about what to eat more of and not what to eat less of. Make sure that if you're listening to this on a podcast or YouTube, that you are subscribed to our channel so that you can be in the know with all of the trends that we break down, dissect, and digest, no pun intended, with everybody.
All right, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.